Hey guys, it's BroUAC, and with the first full year of Overwatch 2 coming to a close in a couple of days, I figured now would be the best time to rank all of the seasons within Overwatch 2. Now, ranking seasons can be pretty difficult because some people think that the Battle Pass decides if a season is good or not, or some people think that the meta makes or break the season. So that's why I'm going to be taking all the seasons that Overwatch 2 had and ranking them based on the following: the Battle Pass that it had, the Mythic skin that it had, if it had a hero or a map, the limited time modes that we played, the meta that we played within competitive, and just what was the most popular hero, and finally, the events that took place during that season. So let's finally get started, but before I do, be sure to comment down below what your favorite season was in Overwatch 2. Was it the very first season, or was it the newest season in
Well, there's a bunch of enemies over there.
Season 8 has been dubbed the filler season of Overwatch 2. There really wasn't anything great about this season. It's kind of surprising because this is an even season which has a brand new hero. And while Magua, the character, is awesome, and we all wanted this hero in Overwatch 2, the meta that he spawned is the most infuriating that we've ever dealt with. In fact, some people would even say that he's the first pay-to-win hero in Overwatch 2 just because he just doesn't die. He has so much sustainability. And paired up with a terrible battle pass, a lackluster Mythic skin with minimal customization, and an event with the Winter Wonderland event where it had nothing new, which includes the Mercy Jingle Bell skin that wasn't included at the beginning of the event. All of this just culminated into what a lot of people would agree to be the worst season. If not the worst season, at least the biggest filler season that we've ever had to endure. Now, this might surprise a lot of people, seeing an early Overwatch 2 season so low on the list, but I don't think a lot of people really remember how disappointing this season was. And the two biggest things that came with this season was, of course, the Star Watch event and Lifeweaver. And some people might not remember Lifeweaver being the worst support hero, but he wasn't just the worst support hero, he was the worst hero ever to be added into Overwatch. It took a couple of seasons for them to rework him and to make him into the hero that he is today, which is very good, but at first, he had a 36 win percentage upon launch. But if you weren't interested in playing with the new hero in competitive, you probably weren't going to be interested in playing the new limited time mode, which was Star Watch, which is very surprising because on paper, this is a mixture of a PvE and PvP type of mode that was inspired by Star Wars, or at least sci-fi films. And the idea of it is great, a mixture of PvP and PvE, sort of giving us a sneak peek of what Overwatch 2 PvE was going to look like, but overall was just dude, it was just boring. I don't know how else to put it. It wasn't exhilarating. It wasn't fun. Like, I played 2 modes of it and I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. I think I would just chalk up Season 4 to be the first experimental season that we had in Overwatch 2 that didn't quite pan out. I mean, we had the Talantis fan-made map, which was fun in concept, but again, it wasn't a finished map. Then we had the Bob and Weave game mode that you play a couple times and you kind of got the gist of it. But then the meta, I mean, it was the rock, paper, scissors meta on full throttle with D.Va, Winston, and Zarya. The Pride event also came here, and then the sci-fi battle pass that was really fit to a niche audience. If you like Star Wars, then you're probably gonna like the battle pass and theme and maybe the game mode, but if you don't care for it, then you don't care about anything in this season. And that's just the thing about this season, is that it didn't fit a lot of people's interests, so people didn't care for it. It also didn't help that this was also the season where they canceled skill trees and PvE. Even though that doesn't really affect the season, I just think that it just added more salt to the wound.
Emily's been working on this campaign for ages.
Season 5 takes the number 6 spot, not because it's a terrible season. In fact, far from it, it's just the only season that didn't have a new hero or a new map. And usually odd seasons always had a new map, but because Season 6 was going to be coming out with a new mode and 2 brand new maps, they figured that they're not going to release a brand new map this season, which would overall be fine given the fact that we got so many new game modes in Overwatch 2. I mean, when you think about it, we had a Demon Lore to kick off the beginning of the season, then with the Summer Games event, we had the Winston Volleyball mode, and then finally, the best game mode to ever come into Overwatch, Prop Hunt. I mean, Prop Hunt was such a success to the point where they're bringing it back with the Lunar New Year event. Not to mention the theme of the season was Dungeons and Dragons, which, just like with Star Watch, it does kind of fit a more niche audience, but I feel like they just kind of succeeded a little bit more with the theming, with the skins. The Adventure Tracer skin looks amazing. Just overall, this is just a very underrated season due to the fact that it doesn't have a brand new hero or a brand new map, and also the meta was a little bit boring because it was just another rock, paper, scissors meta but I don't think that should undermine just all the great things that Season 5 did bring us. I mean, the only negative thing about this season, besides the meta, is the missing map, but that would get made up for in the following season with 2 brand new Flashpoint maps.
The weight of my future rests on my shoulders.
Cracking in the top 5, taking the 5th spot, is Season 6, and this is probably the most surprising entry on this list, just because Season 6 was supposed to be on the same hype level as Season 1, because this was the PvE season. But surprisingly, I think that was the most overlooked part of this season, just given how much was actually offered within this season. First and foremost, Illari was released in Season 6, and is someone that I would argue to be the second best hero to ever be added in the game, but is probably the most balanced hero to ever be added within the game. Now, a lot of people argue about balance because, yes, I recognize that she was probably the best support hero to play within Season 6. You cannot deny that she was definitely the most fun support hero to play at that time, just because she could do her job as a support, which is passively heal, but just get in the fight, shoot things, and shoot things very well she could. She was a DPS first, support hero second. And while people love to hate on Flashpoint, you gotta recognize that we did get a brand new core game mode with 2 maps, New Junk City and Servasa. Both of these maps look fantastic, and me personally, I don't know why people hate on Flashpoint. I personally like it, and I like the fact that Blizzard is trying to give us new core-free game modes with every passing season. But if you didn't like wasting time in competitive, you could always waste time within Hero Mastery and try to speed run the courses, which I kind of forgot that Hero Mastery came out in Season 6. Plus, on top of that, the anniversary event came out, brought back previous Overwatch 2 events, like with the Battle for Olympus and Star Watch event, like who's playing that? Like, I'm naming off all these good things, and then we get the cosmetics. Even this is something that I can't really complain about. I mean, it's definitely not my favorite, turning Overwatch heroes into Omnics, and then on a mythic skin is definitely a little bit scary. That's not something that I would prefer my Sniper Grandma to be wearing, but at least they're trying to create different skins rather than just putting heroes into casual clothes. But what was supposed to be the spotlight of this season, which was easily forgotten about within the first day, was the PvE. This is the whole point of Overwatch 2 existing. This is the whole reason why there's number 2 right next to the Overwatch logo, is because there's supposed to be player versus environment. There's supposed to be a campaign, a story that expands the world of Overwatch, where we can learn about the history's past, and we really just didn't get that. With only 3 playable missions upon Season 6's launch, where one of them was already playable at 2019 BlizzCon, it was a very lackluster campaign experience. It was a very A to B to C, without allowing us to explore the Overwatch world, to explore these heroes' backstory, and to really learn about them. It really just seemed like Blizzard included PvE with Season 6 just to be able to say that they released PvE. And some people would argue that they shouldn't have even released PvE to begin with because of the lackluster experience. So hopefully in the future they can improve upon PvE, because this is a big reason why Season 6 ranks so low on this list. Well, yes, it had a lot of content, a lot of quality content. The biggest thing for not only Season 6 but Overwatch 2 existing makes it just very disappointing, and that's why Season 6 is only at number 5.
What reason have you to fear me?
Taking the number 4 spot is Season 7, and this is one of my personal favorite seasons, and that might surprise a lot of people because, wait, this didn't have a brand new hero. In fact, didn't the Mythic skin have your least favorite hero? Yes! And that's why, oh, it pains me to say that even though Hanzo only had minimal customization, you cannot deny that Hanzo looks fantastic. This looks killer, man, for a Mythic skin. If I was ranking these seasons based on biasness, this would easily be in the top 3, just based on the collaboration alone. The Lay Seraphim collab, while some people might have gotten annoyed by this collab and annoyed by seeing so much K-pop within Overwatch 2, you cannot deny that this collab succeeded in what it was trying to do, which is trying to bring in a new audience to play Overwatch 2. There were K-pop fans that have never even touched Overwatch 2, but because their bias was within the game and they had these beautiful skins, they made them want to play this game. Not to mention the fact that we also got a second collab within this season with Diablo, and this is less so a collaboration because, well, it's just Blizzard collaborating with themselves, but the Diablo event was also great too for a Diablo fan. Now, me personally, I didn't really appreciate the Diablo event compared to someone that probably plays Diablo on a consistent basis, but it seems like Diablo fans really really loved the Trials of Sanctuary mode because it really replicated how you play Diablo in that game, which is totally different to how you play Overwatch 2, which is a multiplayer PvP mode. But even not being a Diablo fan, I still like the fact that there was a Halloween type of game mode where they redecorated Blizzard World to have these different villains inspired by Diablo villains, not to mention the skin. Oh my god, the Lilith Mora skin and the battle pass, just everything about the cosmetics were hitting. Like, everything about this season was just spectacular. The skins, the game mode, Samoa was beautiful as well. Like, the only terrible part about this season was the meta, because Sombra and Orisa was terrorizing everybody, because this is when Sombra got reworked and Orisa got, I think she got buffed or slightly nerfed, but not enough to where she still was the must-pick tank. That was definitely the worst part about the season, but luckily you could always play Concert Clash if you didn't want to deal with the meta, because that was a very fun, experimental, and surprisingly addictive mode. Like, me personally, that's my favorite limited time mode. If I could play that all day, I would.
You're in the presence of a legend.
We've gotten to the seasons that everyone kind of expected to be high on the list, but at the number 3 spot, fittingly, is Season 3. Now, Season 3 took on a more Chinese or just Asian mythology type of theme, and we also see that with the skins and the new Mythic skin, which was the Kiriko Mythic skin. A lot of people would say that this is probably where Mythic skins peaked, just because you had all sorts of customization, the colors looked fantastic, and the different type of armor, designs, and headpieces that Kiriko can wear looks phenomenal. And after the season, it just kind of went a little bit downhill, whether it's how the skin looks or the customization, whatever the case may be. But this season, the Mythic skin definitely was not lacking. On top of the Battle Pass, I mean, they're definitely not my favorite skins, but you can still find a couple that look really good. Like Invisible Man is my personal favorite from the Battle Pass. And we also saw the inclusion of Antarctic Peninsula, which a lot of people will say that this is the lowest part of the season, which is surprising because this is the first new control map added into Overwatch 2, and usually control maps are really good just because control is a great game mode. But Antarctic Peninsula, it's not that bad, especially with the cute penguins and the fishes that come out of the hole. Come on, that's a cute inclusion. But if you weren't impressed with what Season 3 had to include, well, that's because we haven't gotten to the best part, which is the limited time modes and events, which was Lover Watch, Patchy Marchy, and of course, the very first collaboration with One Punch Man. This is why collaborations needed to come sooner into Overwatch, because the fact that One Punch Man came with Season 3, some people will think that this is what makes Season 3 the best season, all because they got to see one of their favorite anime characters be made into an Overwatch hero. And I would have to agree with them. Look, come on, turning Doofus into Saitama, I always called him Sadama, and people got annoyed by that, but the fact that he was made into an anime character is just awesome. And let's not forget about the 3 other skins with the Genji, Kiriko, and Soldier skin. Like, really, there's so much to love about Season 3. Literally! Because then there was a dating simulator that was separate from Overwatch, where you can try to hook up with Mercy, Genji, or Hanzo. I unfortunately had to date Hanzo if I wanted to get all the cosmetics. But Season 3, man, looking back on it, this was a killer season. The fact that this didn't include a brand new hero, but it brought all that content just made it all the worthwhile.
Fight like cornered beasts.
Claiming the number 2 spot, fittingly once again, is Season 2. Now, I will say it could have easily taken the number 1 spot if, upon launch, Ramattra was just a little bit better of a tank. Now, he was quickly made into a viable tank, but upon launch, he was pretty cheeks. But then the new map, Shambali, is still one of the worst maps ever added in Overwatch 2, and it's just because of the middle part in between point 1 and point 2 with that vertical part. I hate that. I hate Junkrats terrorized me there. It always killed me. But besides the addition of Shambali and Ramattra, we also got the inclusion of one of the best battle passes and themes to ever come into the game, with Greek mythology and a game mode to go alongside of it, Battle for Olympus. This was a free-for-all mode with one of the best twists that Overwatch has ever included in its game, making Overwatch heroes into literal Greek gods. They turn Ramattra into Poseidon, they turn Lucio into Hermes, and they turn the Junker Queen into the god of all gods with the inclusion of the Zeus Mythic skin. Like, my god, like, looking back at Season 2, they just ate and left no crumbs with this season. Like, this game mode, and really, this season was just really fun throughout its entirety. I mean, the fact that we were able to play this Battle for Olympus mode mode, and whoever got the most kills with a specific hero got a statue made of them, even though Junker Queen was definitely the superior hero to play in this game mode. It was still fun nonetheless. Like, this is what I expect Blizzard to do with every season, was to have everybody come together and just have fun, because we sure as heck couldn't do that in competitive with the Roadhog meta at full throttle. This is the reason why Roadhog got nerfed into the ground and he needed to get reworked, was because they couldn't figure out his one-shot hook capability. They make it too good, well, he's the must-pick tank. They make it too bad, well, now he's the worst tank of all time. But you know, looking back at the Roadhog meta and seeing the Magua meta that we're living in right now, I would probably go back to Season 2 and playing competitive, because I would rather deal with a Roadhog one-shot hooking me than deal with a Magua that just can't die. But no matter what season comes with an awesome mythic skin, a killer theme in the battle pass, a fun limited time mode, none of it will ever hold a candle to the #1 season in Overwatch 2.
All of us. Let's get this started.
Hi gamer boys and egros everywhere, we all expected to see Season 1 take the #1 spot just because it had all the content, but all the best content. I mean, it was the first season of Overwatch 2. Why wouldn't it have the best content? I don't think I need to explain the contents as to why it's good. I just need to tell you what kind of content we had within Season 1. First and foremost, the best mythic skin that we're ever gonna get with the Cyber Demon Genji skin. The best hero that we're probably gonna get for years, that had somewhat balance, but also the cuteness factor with Kiriko, and a awesome Wrath of the Bride Halloween mode to go alongside all the new content within Season 1. While the Swordsman meta definitely was annoying to deal with, I would rather deal with a Swordsman than a Magua or Orisa or a Lifeweaver life gripping my heroes away from me when I'm trying to kill them. While some can argue that Season 1 is a little bit overhyped, you cannot deny the bar that it's set for future seasons and why it just kind of continues to just go downhill season after season. But hopefully in 2024, and with the inclusion of Season 9, we can start to see seasons get back on track to how they used to be at the beginning of Overwatch 1. But until then, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching more Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.